Ever feel like you're hopping on the latest workplace trend just because everyone else is? Or worry that one small decision might snowball into something big? Welcome to episode 4 of Pragmatic Truth. I'm so glad you're here with me. Today we're diving into how logical fallacies like the bandwagon fallacy and the slippery slope can sneak into our decisions at work. Understanding these can really sharpen your critical thinking and communication skills. So let's jump in and see what Phil and Marie have for us today.
Ever been in a meeting, right? And someone's trying to make a point, but their logic is like completely off.
It absolutely happens all the time.
Yeah, so today we're tackling 2 big ones. The bandwagon fallacy and the always frustrating slippery slope. You guys sent in some great examples for this one.
And these are really common ones. We see them everywhere, not just at work, but in those high-stakes situations, knowing how to spot them.
Total game changer, helps you steer clear of bad decisions.
Exactly.
Okay, so bandwagon fallacy, this is the whole everyone's doing it, so it must be right thing.
Right, and it's so tempting to just go with the flow.
Mm-hmm.
Right, but the problem is, just because something is popular, it doesn't automatically make it the best choice, especially at work. Like, take that example someone sent in about adopting new software just because competitors are using it.
Yeah, that's a classic.
It might be tempting to jump on the bandwagon, but the smarter move? Figure out if that software actually fits your needs.
Right. Do your research. Maybe it's a good fit, maybe it's not. Don't just follow the crowd. It's like, I don't know, buying those shoes everyone raves about only to realize they absolutely kill your feet.
Exactly. Just because it works for one person or one company doesn't mean it works for everyone. Context matters.
Okay, so then we have the slippery slope, and this one gets me fired up.
It's all about those worst case scenarios.
Yes, like completely over the top. If we do this, then this will happen, and then the world will end.
Right, like that example that came in about flexible work hours.
Oh yeah, where the manager was convinced that if they allowed any flexibility, productivity would just like vanish.
Completely, but it's all based on, fear, not facts.
Mm-hmm. Instead of like looking at the data or even considering, that people could actually thrive with a bit more flexibility.
Absolutely.
It's like saying, well, if I let you work from home on Fridays, then eventually you're going to want to work from home all the time, and then no one will ever come into the office and the entire company will fall apart.
Yeah.
And it just snowballs from there. But the reality is there's probably a much more reasonable and frankly more likely outcome.
Okay, but then it gets extra sneaky, right? Because sometimes these fallacies, they team up.
They do, and that's when it gets dangerous.
Yeah, like in that example of the unlimited vacation policy.
That's a perfect example.
There's they combined both, right?
Exactly. The team leader argued that all the best companies are doing it, so classic bandwagon.
And then the manager jumped in with, but if we do that, everyone will take off all the time and productivity will plummet. Pure slippery slope.
It's like a 1-2 punch of flawed logic. And it's even more persuasive because you've got 2 arguments seemingly backing each other up.
Right. You have to be so careful.
So how do we actually fight back against this? Like, what can our listeners do when they encounter this in the wild?
So the first step is recognizing those fallacies. That's huge. But then you have to be prepared to respond strategically.
Right. Don't just let it slide.
Exactly. So when you hear someone using the bandwagon fallacy, you can say something like, okay, so a lot of people are doing this, but is it actually the best fit for us and our specific needs?
Love that. What about the slippery slope?
For that one, you could say something like, hold on a second, what evidence do we have that this one action will actually lead to that extreme outcome? Or are there some other potentially more likely outcomes we should consider?
It's about bringing that critical thinking into the conversation. And honestly, you instantly become that much more valuable to your team because you're the one who can see through those flawed arguments.
Absolutely. Because at the end of the day, we're all after the best possible outcome.
Exactly. So here's something to think about. How can you encourage a culture of critical thinking in your own workplace? Because that's how you prevent these kinds of arguments from derailing your decisions in the first place.
Food for thought.
That's a wrap. We're done for today. Pragmatic Truth showed the way. Think better, live better. It's on you if you missed it. Oh, boo-hoo. Pragmatic truth, we're signing out. If you didn't get it, no need to pout. We laid it bare, straight and uncouth. Catch you next time on Pragmatic Truth. Pragmatic truth, we're signing out. If you didn't get it, no need to pout. We laid it bare, straight and uncouth. Catch you next time on Pragmatic Truth. Show's over, time to hit the road. Pragmatic truth, just drop the load. Short and sweet, we told it straight. If you're still confused, that's just great. Show's over, time to hit the road. Pragmatic truth, just drop the load. Short and sweet, we told it straight. If you're still confused, that's just great. Pragmatic truth, we said our piece. No sugarcoating, no golden fleece. We spoke our mind, that's the truth. See you next time on Pragmatic Truth.